It was just another regular day at the Phoenix Mercury practice facility. The bright lights shining overhead, reflecting against polished hardwood floors as the team finished up their drills. Lexie Hull, known for her quiet focus and relentless hustle, wiped sweat from her brow and headed toward the locker room. Her mind on her routine, she had no idea that her life was about to take a turn that would not only change her own future, but also send shock waves through the entire world of women's basketball. The gym, usually full of energy, seemed to settle into a hush. The coaches and staff moved quietly, glancing at the clock, waiting for something or someone. The security cameras, unnoticed on normal days, were suddenly pointed at a particular door. The anticipation in the air was impossible to ignore, but Lexie, focused as always, was oblivious to the storm that was about to come her way. Then, as the last echoes of bouncing balls faded, the doors swung open. A tall figure stepped inside, moving with the kind of confidence that only comes from years of greatness. Even before his face was fully visible, those in the gym recognized the unmistakable presence of a legend. Michael Jordan, the man who changed basketball forever, had entered the room, carrying a sleek black folder with a bold Nike logo gleaming on its cover. The room fell completely silent, the kind of stillness that only appears at the start of something historic. Lex's teammates, coaches, and staff watched as Jordan walked straight toward her, every step measured and purposeful. For a moment, Lexie stood frozen, trying to make sense of what was happening. She had grown up watching highlights of Jordan's greatest moments, learning about his partnership with Nike that had transformed the world of sports marketing. And now here he was walking right up to her, holding what could only be called a symbol of opportunity. As Jordan reached her, he extended the folder. Lex's hands trembled as she took it, the weight of the moment settling in. Slowly she opened it. What she saw inside made her knees weak. The numbers on the contract were staggering. $11 million. And not just that, but her own signature shoe line. Something only the most elite athletes in the world ever receive. The shock on her face, the way she tried to hold back tears, told everyone in the room that this was far from ordinary. It was a moment that would be replayed over and over again across social media as fans tried to capture the magic of what had just happened. This was not just a personal victory for Lexie. It was bigger than that. A statement that the world of sports was changing. Women's basketball, long overlooked and underappreciated by big brands, was finally getting the attention it deserved. The fact that Michael Jordan himself had come to deliver this news in person only made it more powerful. His original Nike deal in 1984 had been seen as bold and groundbreaking. But this was different. This was a sign that the next generation would have their own heroes, their own opportunities, and their own stories to tell. Most WNBA players earn between $60,000 and $250,000 per season, a fraction of what their male counterparts make. Endorsement deals for female athletes are usually modest, rarely reaching the heights seen in men's sports. But this contract changed all that in an instant. Lexie, who had always been known as a hard worker rather than a flashy star, was now in a whole new league. The deal didn't just make her rich. It made her a symbol of what's possible when talent, dedication, and the right opportunity come together. The deal itself was more than just money. It was about respect, recognition, and the chance to inspire a generation. Nike's decision to give Lexie her own signature shoe line was proof that they saw her not just as an athlete, but as a trailblazer. The company known for turning athletes into icons was making a statement about where they believed the future of basketball was headed. And by choosing Lexie, they were showing that greatness isn't always about being the loudest or flashiest. Sometimes it's about consistency, teamwork, and heart. The news spread quickly. Videos of Lexie's reaction flooded social media, racking up millions of views as fans and players alike celebrated this turning point. Analysts called it a game share, a moment that would be remembered for years to come. The message was clear. Women's sports were no longer an afterthought. They were the future, and brands like Nike were ready to invest in that future in a big way. For Lexie, it was validation of everything she had worked for. Early mornings, late nights, and the constant pressure to prove herself. Unlike some of her peers who had built their brands on social media, Lexie had kept her focus on the court, letting her play speak for itself. This deal was proof that hard work and integrity could still pay off in a big way. Nike's statement following the announcement was simple but powerful. They called Lexie the future of basketball, not just women's basketball but basketball, period. They promised a major campaign featuring her set to launch before the next WNBA season. The anticipation was electric, with everyone eager to see how this new partnership would unfold. The timing of the deal couldn't have been better. Women's basketball was experiencing a surge in popularity with TV viewership up and more corporate sponsors getting involved. But there were still huge gaps when it came to salaries, media coverage, and endorsement deals. Lexi's contract wasn't just a win for her. It was a signal that things were changing and that other female athletes could soon see similar opportunities. The reaction from the sports world was immediate and overwhelmingly positive. NBA and WNBA players took to social media to congratulate Lexie and celebrate the moment. Fans everywhere saw this as a sign that the playing field was starting to level out. For young girls dreaming of playing professionally, Lexie's story gave them hope that their dreams could lead to something big both on and off the court. Nike's move was also smart business. Research showed that women were making up a bigger share of athletic shoe and clothing purchases. By making Lexie a face of their brand, Nike was betting on a future where women's sports would keep growing and where female athletes would be just as marketable as their male counterparts. For Michael Jordan, this moment added a new chapter to his incredible legacy. He had already changed the game once, turning his Nike partnership into the most successful athlete brand in history. Now, by putting his stamp of approval on Lexie, he was showing the world that the next big thing in basketball could come from anywhere. Even a player who had quietly worked her way to the top without seeking the spotlight. As Lexie walked out of the gym that day, still in shock, she knew her life would never be the same. She was no longer just a player. She was a symbol of a new era. The partnership between Nike, Jordan, and Lexie Hull wasn't just about shoes or money. It was about rewriting the rules and showing the world that women's basketball deserved to be taken seriously. The world watched, waiting to see what would happen next. For Lexie and for everyone who believed in the power of women's sports, this was just the beginning.